It started the way many small problems start in Nigerian university towns, quietly, casually, without any sign that blood would soon stain the ground. Aluu was not a strange place to students of the University of Port Harcourt. It was a host community, the kind of place where landlords rented out single rooms to undergraduates, where women sold hot rice and stew in the evenings, where boys fixed phones under umbrellas, and where students passed through every day without fear. It was familiar, ordinary, alive. On that October afternoon in 2012, nothing about the weather suggested tragedy. The sun was hot but not cruel. The air carried the usual noise, motorcycles revving, children shouting, radios playing gospel and high life from open windows. It was the kind of day where people worried about food prices, school fees, and what to cook for dinner. Ugonna Abuser was just 18. Fresh-faced, slim, still carrying the soft confidence of someone who believed the world would eventually be kind. He had lent his laptop to a friend, not out of pressure, but out of trust. In Nigerian schools, borrowing was common. A charger here, a textbook there, a laptop, sometimes. The understanding was always simple: return it when you're done. But the laptop had not come back. Days passed. Then weeks. Each time Ugonna asked, there was an excuse. I'll bring it tomorrow. The charger spoiled. I traveled. It became irritating, then worrying. A laptop was not a small thing. It held assignments, projects, hopes. For a student, it was almost a lifeline. Eventually, Ugonna spoke to his friends. Lloyd Toku was 19 and sharp-tongued, the kind of boy who spoke his mind and laughed loudly. Chiadika Bairinga was calmer, thoughtful, someone who listened before talking. Tikina Ekona was friendly and observant, the type who noticed details others missed. All four were students. All four were young. All four had futures that still felt wide open. They didn't go to Aluu looking for trouble. They didn't carry weapons. They didn't plan violence. They only wanted the laptop back, or at least an explanation. They believed talking would solve it. When they arrived, the conversation did not go as planned. The boy who had borrowed the laptop felt cornered. Whether out of fear, guilt, or pride, no one can say for sure. But instead of returning the laptop or explaining clearly, his voice rose. His tone changed. Accusations replaced explanations. Words flew, sharp and fast. Then someone shouted. In Nigeria, a single shout can change everything. Thief. It was a word that carried weight. A dangerous word. A word that traveled faster than truth. Within minutes, people gathered. First a few. Then many. Some didn't even know what had happened. They only heard the word and came running. In communities where crime had become common and trust in the police was thin, accusations often became convictions. Someone called the vigilante group. The boys tried to explain. They spoke over one another, their voices trembling now. We are students. We came to collect our laptop. Please, this is a misunderstanding. But the crowd had already decided to listen to noise instead of sense. Phones came out. Cameras pointed. People filmed, not to help, but to watch. Hands grabbed shirts. Someone slapped Ugonna. Another pushed Lloyd. When one person hits, others feel permitted. Violence spreads like fire in dry grass. They were stripped. Not because it proved guilt, but because humiliation had become part of the punishment. Sticks appeared. Stones followed. Each blow landed heavier than the last. The boys cried. They begged. They called on God. They called on their mothers. Their words drowned under shouting. Confess. What did you steal? You think this is school? Someone poured fuel. At that moment, fear turned into terror. Even then, some people still stood and watched. Some recorded. Some cheered. A few tried to speak, but their voices were swallowed by the crowd. When mob mentality takes over, humanity retreats. Tires were brought. In Nigeria, everyone knew what tires meant. The boys screamed. The fire was lit. What followed was not justice. It was murder. Slow, public, irreversible. By the time the flames died down, 4 young men who had left their rooms alive that afternoon were gone. Their dreams, graduation, careers, families ended on a dusty street, surrounded by people who would later claim they didn't know what happened. The video spread faster than the truth ever could. Phones passed from hand to hand. Clips moved from Bluetooth to Facebook, from WhatsApp to international news stations. People watched from their homes, from offices, from across the world, unable to believe what they were seeing, yet unable to look away. Nigeria woke up angry. How could this happen? They were students. This could be anyone's child. At the University of Port Harcourt, rage exploded. Students protested. They blocked roads. They marched. Some attacked properties in Aluu, driven by grief and fury. The town that had watched 4 boys die now tasted fear itself. Parents cried on television. Mothers collapsed. Fathers stared blankly into cameras, struggling to understand how a quest for a laptop had ended in death. The police arrived late, as they often did. Arrests followed, slowly. Names emerged. A police sergeant. Vigilante members. Familiar faces from the crowd. Some people ran. Others denied involvement, even when videos showed otherwise. The case dragged on. Years passed. Court dates were postponed. Files moved. Evidence aged. Families waited. Justice in Nigeria rarely moves quickly, especially when the dead are poor students and the guilty are many. In 2017, nearly 5 years later, a verdict finally came. Some were sentenced to death. Others walked free due to lack of evidence. Closure remained incomplete. No sentence could bring back 4 young men whose lives were cut short by fear, ignorance, and collective cruelty. Today, Aluu still exists. People still wake up, go to work, cook food, laugh, and argue. But something changed that day. A stain remains, not just on the community, but on the nation. The Aluu 4 were not armed robbers. They were not criminals. They were students who trusted conversation over confrontation, reason over rage. Their story is not just about mob justice. It is about how quickly humanity disappears when fear takes control. It is about how silence can be as deadly as action. It is about how ordinary people, on an ordinary day, can become part of something unforgivable. And somewhere, in the quiet moments, Nigeria still asks itself the same question. If shouting a thief is enough to kill, how safe is anyone?